Welcome back, students, to Agriculture Form 4. We are still on the topic of reproductive systems of cattle and poultry. Last time, we started discussing on the reproductive systems of cattle, whereby we looked on the structure of the reproductive system of the bull as well as the cow. Then later on, we also started looking on the reproduction process, whereby we only looked on puberty as one of the reproduction process, where we discussed a number of things. Then we also looked on the factors which will affect the animals reaching puberty. We discovered that different types of the animals will reach puberty at different stage. So let's proceed from where we stop. So for today's lesson, we are going to proceed by describing the reproduction process in cattle. Last time, we only looked on the puberty part as one of the reproduction process. So let us proceed from there and dig more how reproduction will take place in cattle. So, since we already looked at once the animals have reached puberty, then that's the right stage where mating should take place. Just because by that time, when they have reached puberty, the female animal will start producing the egg, and the male animal will start produce the male gamete, which is the sperm. So, if the two unite, thereby fertilization will take place. But let us proceed by looking on estrus. This is also called heat period. This is the period when female animals show the urge to mate. They will show the strongest sexual desire. So this is the right time when we can allow the animals to mate. During this period, the ova develop and the oviduct is made ready to receive the ova. So, what are the signs? Remember, this is the right period when mating should be done in cow, when they have started showing the signs that that age to mate. This is the right time when mating should be done. So it means the farmer should not relax, at least should be aware of the signs of heat in cow. So one of the signs is that the cow becomes less stressed. So this is one of the signs. Apart from that, the cow bellows. It's like frequent mowing. So there is frequent mowing in cow. The way this picture is showing, it's like the cow is mowing. So it's one of the signs that this animal is on heat. Apart from that, this cow which is on heat mounts other cows in standstill when mounted by other cows. So you can see from the picture here, they are all female cows, and this we are saying that one of the signs is that the cow which is on heat will mount their fellow cow. So this is the sign that this animal is on heat. This other animal is also standing still. It means it's also another sign. If it is mounted, it stands still. So it's also another sign. Apart from that, the vulva becomes laden and light. The vulva becomes red. From the picture, we are seeing that the vulva is somehow red here. So it's also another sign. And also, you can also observe from this picture, we will see that the mucus is coming out. The mucus is coming out. So there is mucus discharge from the vulva. So all these are the signs. And for the animal which is already on a lactation period, the milk production is reduced. So another sign is there is an increase in urination. I don't know what transpires in animals, but most of the times, if the female animal will urinate, that will attract the male animal. This is usually the case in cattle, in sheep, as well as goat. As long as the female animal is urinating, the male animal will come and sniff out of the urine. So the female animal will urinate frequently if it is on heat, just to attract the male animals. Yeah, so milk production declines in lactating cows. This we have already stipulated. So most times it's not wise if you just observe mild signs that the animal is on heat, then you save that cow. But here is the chart. This chart is just showing when should we mate the animal, when to breed. So there is this column showing standing heat, first observation, like first signs the animal is showing when it is on heat, then when can we mate the animal. So if the animal shows the first signs early in the morning, make sure that the mating should be done late in the afternoon, the same day. But if the first signs are shown in the afternoon, make sure that the mating should be done the next morning. So if we just follow this chart, at least fertilization will be successful. So once the animal is showing the heat, those heat will phase out. Then they will reoccur. So that's estrus cycle. So let us go through estrus cycle as another part under estrus. So fertilization, we are saying fertilization is most likely to take place at heat period, but timing is also necessary. Timing is also necessary. That's why we have developed that chart. The farmer must now know the estrus cycle of the animal. So estrus cycle is the interval between one heat period and the next. It's the interval between one heat period and the next. Once heat period has taken place, has occurred in an animal, then it will phase out. It will phase out after some hours. Once it has phased out, it will also take some days for the signs to reoccur. So the estrus cycle, it has 4 stages. We have what we call proestrus phase, then we have estrus phase, metaestrus phase, then diestrus phase. So let us go through what happens under each stage of estrus cycle. Let's start with proestrus. This phase can last up to 3 days, and during this period, the reproductive tract is prepared. So at this stage, the reproductive tract is just prepared. So the follicles will start to grow at this stage. The follicles will start to grow. The follicles will start to grow. So it's just a matter of development of muscles of the ovary. Development of muscles of the ovary. So this is the stage we are talking about. This is the stage of proestrus where the follicles will start to develop. The follicles will start to develop. At this stage, one of the external sign or the physical sign you can see from animal is that the vaginal walls thickens under the influence of estrogen, and also the vulva will swell. the vulva will swell. Then we have estrus. We have estrus. This is the stage when animals have strong sexual desire. So most of the signs which we mentioned, the animal will show you are under this stage, estrus. So the animal shows signs that it is on heat. So during this phase, follicles continue to grow to reach maturity. Then later on, the follicles will burst to release the egg. So this is the stage. This is the stage. The development of the follicles will continue to develop. Then they will grow up until they reach maturity. Up until they reach maturity. Once they have mature, then uh, it will burst. So they will later burst. So once they've burst, then the egg is released. You can see here from the picture, the follicles will burst, leaving a gap to make sure that the egg is released. So the ovum, once the follicles rupture, then the ova will come out, the egg will come out. Then we have this phase, metaestrus. This is the stage when corpus luteum is formed. Corpus luteum is formed. So the body secretes the hormone called progesterone, which suppresses the growth of the follicles so that no more eggs are released. So at this stage of metaestrus, once the follicles have burst, and the egg have been released, where the follicles have ruptured, they will leave a gap. They will leave a gap or a hole. So that hole, it is filled with corpus luteum. It is filled by this corpus luteum. So this corpus luteum will start secreting the hormone called progesterone, which will suppress the growth of the follicles so that no more eggs should be released. Then the last phase is diestrus, and during this stage, corpus luteum is retained if fertilization takes place. Obviously, if fertilization takes place, then the animal is pregnant. There is no need of further release of the eggs. So at this stage, corpus luteum is retained to prevent further release of the eggs. But if the animal is not pregnant, thus this phase is very short. So it will go all over again the first phase. So the estrus cycle varies from animal and species. Here is the cycle for the cow. Here is the cycle for the cow. So for the cow, it will take 21 days. Once the signs have been shown, day one, after 21 days, they will start showing again the signs that they are on heat. But for the duration of the heat period, it's 18 to 30 hours in cow. It's 18 to 30, it's 18 to 30 hours. Let's look now on the other process of reproduction, that's fertilization and development of embryo. So fertilization takes place when the male gamete fuses with the female gamete, and the fertilized egg forms a zygote, which travels down the oviduct and attaches itself to the wall of uterus. So this takes about 15 days in sows and ewes, but it takes 30 days in cow after ovulation has occurred. and the zygote undergoes rapid cell division to form the embryo and later the fetus. So this is the process, the egg uniting with the sperm, and once the union has taken place, it will form a zygote. Then there will be rapid cell division here, forming, then it will form the embryo. So the embryo will be growing later on, forming the fetus, then the fetus will come out. So one ejaculation contains about 2 to 300 300 million sperms in the semen, but only one sperm will fertilize the egg. Only one sperm fertilizes the egg. So these sperms, once they have released into the female tract, they can live in the female tract for up to 20 to 30 hours. So once the animal is pregnant, the gestation period, meaning from the time of fertilization, has taken place to the birth of the young animal. In a cow, it will take 283 days. Roughly, we are talking of 9 months in a cow. So after fertilization has taken place, the developing egg, the zygote, attaches itself to the walls of uterus. We are talking of implantation. Then the zygote forms an embryo which is fully developed and form the fetus. But by this stage, the embryo has undergone a series of cell division, resulting in the formation of tissues and the organs of the body. So the first organ to be formed is the heart. The first organ to be formed is the heart. To know that something is alive, the first organ to be formed is the heart, followed by the circulatory system, later the placenta. So the fetus is attached to the placenta through the umbilical cord. Through the umbilical cord. Blood vessels in the placenta lie close to blood vessels in the uterus, so that the fetus is able to get oxygen and nutrients through the blood system. But we should take note that there is no direct connection between fetus blood system and mother's blood system. So the fetus is surrounded by 3 fluid-filled membranes. These ones, they act as a cushion and protect the fetus. Also help to keep the fetus warm. These membranes, they help to keep the fetus warm, and they serve as lubricants when the cow gives birth. And these membranes are amnion water sac, the chorion, which will surround the amnion, and the allantois. This allantois, most of the books, they do not quote it just because it is formed later. Remember, we're saying that the first organ to be formed in the embryo is the heart. Later on, we're talking of circulatory system. So the bladder is formed later. So when the bladder is formed, then this allantois membrane is the one which will now develop. So this allantois, most of the times it is filled with urine. Most of the times it is filled with urine. Most of the times, which comes from the fetus. How do they feed now? If we are saying that there is no direct connection or in terms of the blood of the mother and the fetus. So in terms of feeding, the fetus get nutrients, e.g. glucose, amino acids, and salts from the mother, but through diffusion. So the nutrients diffuse through the others blood to the fetus. This is made possible because of finger-like structures which are found on the placenta called villi. So they are present in the placenta. And this fetus inside the mother womb need also to breathe. So respiration will involve two stages. First, oxygen is taken into it is taken in, then later carbon dioxide is released through diffusion. Secondly, the oxygen helps to break down the food nutrients, for example, fats and carbohydrates through oxidation. And during oxidation, carbon dioxide, water, and energy are released. Therefore, there is room for excretion as well. So the fetus eliminates these waste, urine, urea, and carbon dioxide by also diffusion from its bloodstream back into the mother's bloodstream. Let's look on parturition. We cannot talk of production without giving birth. So, parturition, in short, we are talking of giving birth. So, after 9 months, 283 days of pregnancy, the cow will show the following signs that it is ready to give birth. The cow becomes restless and look for a quiet place. The udder becomes large and there is mucus discharge from the vagina. Then the pelvic ligament relaxes and becomes soft. So if there are these signs, know for sure that the animal is ready to give birth and there is need of the farmer to be close in case there are some complications. And at the beginning of the labor, the walls of the uterus begin to contract, leading to breaking of amniotic membranes. Remember, these membranes, they are the ones which will engulf the baby. So they need to break before the young one comes out. So that pressure now of contraction increases and causes the cervix to open wide. In short, we say dilate, and eventually the membranes burst as the pressure increases further. So the amniotic fluid comes out through the vagina, and as the uterus continues to contract, the calf is pushed out with the front feet first. So front legs should come out first, then the head rests between the front legs. That's normal presentation. So normal presentation in cow when they are giving birth, we are saying that the front feet together with the head resting between the front legs should come out first. So that's the normal presentation. And generally, cows do not face parturition difficulties. If in case they are facing parturition difficulties, we call it dystocia. However, it may happen, of course, at times due to wrong position of the calf. Sometimes it can be the opposite, the tail, starting with the tail. So we call it breech presentation. So breech presentation, the hind legs and the tail will start. Or when the calf is too big is when the animal will experience some parturition difficulties. If there are some difficulties, it is important to call for the veteran or any animal officers to help. If you are experienced as the farmer, you may help so that you change the presentation. You just insert your hands and change the presentation of the calf. So that should start with the front legs and the head. After the calf is born, the afterbirth, so-called placenta, uh, fetal membranes, and umbilical cord are all ejected. And normally, the cow eat the afterbirth, cleaning the surrounding. So once the cow has given birth, there is need for milk to be produced. So this is the structure of the mammary gland. We have the alveoli, These are the alveoli. Then we have the duct. These are the ducts. These are the ducts. We have the main duct and the small duct. Then we have the gland system, the teat system, then the teat. So it's the zoomed one. This is the alveoli we are talking about. Yeah. Then we have the gland system or the milk system, where these alveoli are connected to the duct, So we have the large duct, then the ones, the branches from the large duct, we call them the small duct. Then we have the sphincter muscles here, the teat system, then the teat canal. So this is the process. Cows have 4 mammary glands, also called cotters, and have the following structures. We have alveoli. The main function, they manufacture and secrete the milk. So they are supplied with nutrients, these alveoli, to manufacture milk from the blood capillary. So the produced milk passes through the small duct to the large duct. From the large duct, the milk goes to the gland system, which is continuous with the sphincter muscles. Then the alveoli and the duct are surrounded by cells called basket cells. These cells, they contract during the letdown of the milk. Once the cells contract, then the milk will let down. Every female animal produces the first milk called colostrum. This milk is very, very important. The first milk is very, very important. So it is yellow, of course, in color. This milk is supposed to be given to the young one. So these young ones, if they are not able to suck from the mother, you can even force them or get the milk using the bottle and feed them, as they are very nutritious and will prevent the animal from being attacked by diseases. So these are some of the influential reproductive hormones. We have been mentioning of the hormones on this topic, reproductive system in cattle. So here is the list. One of it is follicle stimulating hormones. It is produced in pituitary gland, and it stimulates the growth of follicles and also stimulates the development of ovaries. Then we have estrogen. It is produced in the follicles and developing ovaries. The function brings onset of estrus. It influences the pituitary gland to produce luteinizing hormones, and it influences the development of mammary glands. Another influential reproductive hormone is luteinizing hormone. It is produced in pituitary gland, and the function is to stimulate the rupture of follicles to release eggs, and also it initiates the production of corpus luteum, essential for maintenance of pregnancy. The other one is progesterone. It is produced by corpus luteum and the placenta of pregnant animal. And the function, it stimulates the follicle development, it refreshes the development of mammary glands, it influences the development of urine wall, and inhibits overproduction, more especially when the animal is pregnant. So that makes the end of the today's lesson. It means we are done discussing on the reproductive systems in cattle. What is remaining is to discuss on the reproductive system in poultry. So if there are further questions, you can ask using the WhatsApp number displayed, or you visit Xulendo to repeat the same lesson. And these are the books, the resources which we've used to come up with this lesson. So you can also go through them so that you check and seek for more clarification in these books. So we stop here. Uh, it means we will proceed with the next lesson later on, that's on the reproductive system in poultry. Until then, goodbye.